Hello, I'm in my studio. I've been in a strange mood in the last few weeks. It's as though I'm waiting for things to happen. I don't know if that's to do with the way we're either in or out of lockdown at the moment in the UK, but it's also to do with meeting people and some reservations about going out in the world. That sounds really strange, I know. So I thought one way of meeting people was to show you where this sort of uncertainty is kind of laying. So in the last few weeks, I've been doing a couple of online courses, and my focus has been on trees. But one of the courses has been looking at dispersed dyeing, and so I have on the table some experiments that I've been doing alongside the students on the course, where I've been looking at shapes and forms. But I thought it'd be quite interesting just to show you around this space where I was filming a few weeks ago for another project, which is where I work in the summer. And this is my studio. And if I scan across, you can see there's a piece of work in progress on the wall. I should say it's a recycled piece of work in progress. I'm not certain where I'm going with it, but I've taken an older piece of work, deconstructed it, and found new elements to go into the work. So if you look, there are those trees again. It's a long way off from being completed, but I believe that in the last few months, since January, I've walked along Moat Park and discovered the wonderful shadows of the trees along one of my favourite pavements. So it's kind of fixed in my mind. I'm now going to pull back and just give you a general shot of the studio with some works that I've had up for some time. But there's the dandelion again. That's an older work, but they're called dandelion in the cracks in the pavement. And then coming across, you can see there's yet another tree next to the coronavirus and isolate at home. But I think I don't mind sharing that uncertainty in my own mind is something perhaps we're all going through. The space I'm in looks a bit tidier. I think that's a kind of active project to keep my mind occupied, but it needed tidying up before filming. So I have a little magnetic board under the shelf. Some trees that I did a few years ago when I was at West Dean. I remember seeing them outside the window there. They're actually, I like trees. Who doesn't? They kind of sustain us, don't they? Derek recently repainted my wooden cupboards so that they were white, ready for filming. And as I scan up, one of the very first things I did almost a year ago and complete is this teacup call with Transform. There's the ceiling as well, which needs repainting, which he said he'd do while I'm away teaching next weekend. I think that's where my uncertainty lies. I'm actually going to be teaching in a real studio space, and I'm not certain how I feel about that at the moment. I'm not worried about the virus. It's just I've been teaching mostly online, and that's helped keep contact with students. But I feel like I'm getting rusty. I'm not certain how things will pan out. I'm hoping I'll do a good job. I'm a little bit frightened about it, a bit terrified, but I think maybe we all are. It's not certain about how we're going to move forward, as we've been told to keep away from people for so long. Anyway, so this is my studio. Sorry, it's turned into a conversation about where we are and what we're doing. This is one of Derek's sketches of a old cat. I don't know if you can see it in the light, but you can see his tail up in the air, two tails. He's got two tails. Here's his front feet. And yet again, if I go down, there's one of my other sketches of bluebells. This was this time last year. I have been doing more sketches of bluebells in the wood. But look, the sun's coming out, so maybe it's not going to be all bad. Coming back to the table, back to those wonderful trees. Look at the sun coming through, and my laundry behind. My little shelf of objects. So I'll return to the trees, because those shadows in the pavements And my latest bluebell sketch just down here is a couple here looking at the bluebells. Perhaps I should remind myself that I might be uncertain, but so will my students, about being in that place. And maybe if we're honest with each other, things will be fine. In fact, I have to believe they will be fine. So I'm looking forward to meeting people again. I have a little bit uncertainty, but out of uncertainty, maybe we'll have a little bit more hope.